Hi, it's your buddy Eric here with daunting volume called Smithsonian History of the World Map by Map. By the way, this is Miko Marks. If you just cover up this bit of shading, she looks more like this. This mark makes her look more like Shirley Horn or my friend DC. All of them very beautiful women, inside and out. But that's beside the point. Or is it? This Smithsonian History of the World, I copped this past weekend from Boswell Book Company on Downer Avenue in Milwaukee. It's the new edition, Mr. Telephone Man. Penguin Random House imprint Doring Kindersley. And it goes, as you can see, starts at the beginning, from apes to farmers. Well, as you can see, it's human history, not animal history. What kind of history could they tell? And the plants and the rocks, right? Got her forward with a nice, crazy-looking map, which isn't so crazy when you examine it further. Here's Spain, here's Italy, here's Asia, and here's some of Africa. Even with paintings of people dressed in what is perceived to be native garb. Probably lots of stereotypes here, but I'm not gonna try to summarize it really, what's going on. Just kind of point out what kind of grabs me from this book, which is divided into all these sections, starting with From Apes to Farmers and ending with, I believe, the COVID-19 pandemic, actually, yeah. Page 354. So, and From Apes to Farmers, first we have a lovely illustration here, or a lovely photograph of Lucy, the humanoid skeleton dated by scientists to over 3 million years ago. And we got a nice Neanderthal skull here. And what is said here cracks me up. Monkeys, apes, and humans are primates that have a large brain, grasping digits, forward-facing eyes, and nails instead of claws. Large brain. But one thing we've learned, especially from Stephen Jay Gould and The Mismeasure of Man, is that brain size doesn't always determine native intelligence. So I'm going to try to read this stuff critically, right? Also, well, first of all, the first ape fossils, right? We all come from apes, that is, humans. And if you don't believe that, then you might want to watch someone else's explanation of how we got where we are. And what I'd like to do is refer back to our origins and to previous events in history, and maybe, tie them into what's happening today. So, first, fossils, African fossils of a primate called proconsul. I remember learning about that at Montessori school. Thank you, Milwaukee Montessori. Date to around 21 to 16 million years ago. And supposedly, according to this text, humans separated from a common ancestor some 6.5 million years ago. We've had a long time to get it right, people. Long time. But we started with some challenges, which we'll learn about. And what's pretty cool about the way this book is arranged, who knows? I mean, I just might find the whole thing objectionable and ditch this whole effort to share my education with you. But my first impression is that it's not purely chronological. For example, From Apes to Farmers, and then we've got Out of Africa. So you've got migrations going on here. So subsequent chapters aren't necessarily what happens next. It might be what's happening parallel to each subject that they cover in each region, obviously. So, because it's a bunch of maps. So, what next? Oh, yes. One species of human, Homo sapiens, came to dominate the world after emerging from Africa after about a quarter of a million years ago. Okay? Now that dominance may be traced, if you use your imagination or your knowledge of some of human history, to a few things that you see here. For example, we have jewelry and drilling, which are said to be looking at seashells perforated and used as ornamental beads in the Middle East and North Africa, are dated back to 135,000 to 100,000 years ago. So you've got jewelry and drilling. Drill, baby, drill. We've been drilling for a long time. And we like it. And jewelry, too. We've been drilling so we can buy those jewels, right? We also we see a bit later evidence. Now, this is all roughly dated stuff, you know. So a lot of this is estimates. Peer-reviewed, of course, with a fair amount of evidence. But, you know, I'm willing to admit where some of this could be wrong. So please feel free to correct me and correct the text. But according to this Smithsonian History of the World in Maps, 70,000 to 60,000 years ago, monoliths in Africa, small stone tools, including blades, suggest the development of projectile technology such as spears and bows. However, we see this illustration here, right? Look at these fossils. These, it says, for nearly 2 million years, human technology was represented by stone flake tools and hand axes. These were made by hitting flint or other workable rock with stone to produce sharp cutting edges. I'm sure you've all had to do this when you're running short of a box cutter, right? So we have kind of a disparity in the text, right? When did cutting tools and weapons develop? Somewhere between 60,000 and 2 million years ago. But, you see, jewelry, drilling, accumulation of riches, things that we bestow with value, all right? I think it's interesting the way the word value is used in modern context, but we'll get to economics and such later and other capitalist metaphors. But you see, you got, all right, tools, maybe back here, but then here, 65,000 years ago, Australia and New Guinea, then connected by land, are colonized by boat. This is the first reference to colonialization or colonization in the book, okay? Colonialism? I'm not sure. This is something Ta-Nehisi Coates, my man Ta-Nehisi Coates, has come under a lot of fire for lately. In addition to other observations in his new book, he asserts that countries, nation states, don't have a divine fundamental right to exist or even a moral reason to exist. They have to be created by force. And so I do find it interesting that you do have weapons, colonization, right? So colonization, if this means literally what it says it is, which is taking land from someone else, I'm sort of at a loss for words here. That's really kind of shocking, actually. But yeah, I mean, this it's a relatively new phenomenon in the millions of years that we and our ape ancestors have been around. It's a fairly new thing. And in any case, what Ta-Nehisi Coates says, these nation states don't have a right to exist, don't have a fundamental right to exist. They must be created by force. And of course, tools assist with that. Also, on the more benign side of things, or maybe something to celebrate, is 40,000 years ago, oldest securely dated painting includes a handprint in an Indonesian cave. Okay, but they're guessing that with pigment, discovered all the way back at 165,000 years ago at Pinnacle Point, South Africa, that, paintings, we're probably like poking around and like making arty things and, doing postmodern takes on Delta 5 B-sides, you know, way back then. And so that's what we got for this very first section, From Apes to Farmers. Welcome your comments, thoughts. Feel free to disagree. Eric and Miko out.